Croeso all, welcome back to Fearless in Devotion, the Wrexham AFC podcast, sponsored by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant, as you know. And speaking of the Fat Boar family, brilliant live night, I'm told. I wasn't there, makes me very sad. Andy, do you want to thank everyone who came?
Yeah, thanks for the guests. Thanks for the enthusiastic crowd. I mean, they did a rendition of "Oh Joey Joey" before we even started, which I think Jamie from the Sound Crew put on Twitter, which is fantastic, and it sort of summed up how the night was going to go. Lee Jones and Neil Roberts had some brilliant stories about Joey and some Sunday Sport girls. But you'll have to actually not Joey with the Sunday Sport girls. I just want to underline that. But Sunday Sport girls were involved in some way. So that was brilliant. We got under the bonnet of the dock, got some pretty good insights from Claire and Rob Clark, and then we finished with the Brett Ormerod, what can only be described as the Brett Ormerod show. Fair play, that lad is
starring Robbie Evans.
Good form.
Yeah, well, co-starring Robbie Evans. Robbie Evans was a good straight man to Brett, and some people said it's one of the best ones. So. Thank you very much for that. Thanks to the tech guys. Thanks to Rich Watkin and the staff at the My Squid. Really enjoyed that one.
And the beautiful Simon Cook as well.
Oh yes, Cookie, our lovely assistant.
And we do it all again on October the 16th. So if you want to grab a ticket, grab them fast from the My Squid website. We'll stick the link in the comments on this for you to pick one up because there's not that many left.
Yeah, if you want to see Liam absolutely roast me at the end for no reason, then this is the place to be on the 16th.
Exciting times. Yeah, thank you everyone, and that was brilliant. Apparently, but I'll hopefully try and make it next time. What are you sharing, Andy? This is scary. Is this the? Oh, wonderful. Okay, this is the.
Don't we just put this on the corner of our blooming pod now?
No, we don't now because we're getting this one out quickly because the news ones, because it takes so much for that to render. We're gonna check the news ones out. So please get the Wrexham as a Game newsletter. I'm confidently told it's now £15 again. So the way it works, it's £15 for your first year. After that, it's £40. I don't know. You might want to change email addresses. I didn't say that. Anyway, let's go on.
Okay, £15. Sign up for the newsletter, everyone. You know what to do. Now, before we discuss that game in minute detail, Southampton versus Wrexham, our first game in the Championship in years and years and years. How many? Someone?
43.
43.
No, I know. Hang on. Is it? Because I thought we went down in 81. Oh, no.
Either I've been writing it wrong in every damn article, and so is everyone else.
You are right. I've just used simple maths, and you are right.
Before we discuss everything, because there's a lot to get through, can we just take a little gauge of how we're all feeling? Because I was buzzing hours after the game, even though obviously it was disappointing to lose in the way we did. But what a breathless game. How amazing to be back at this level again. Just loved it. And to push them so close, it was just great. And I was very jealous of you three being there. Andy, how are you feeling about it?
Well, if you'd have asked me a minute after the game, I was standing next to Kaus, doing a bit for the Men in Blazers, and Stevie, Kaus's cameraman, said, "Do you want to? What's your initial for?" And I couldn't speak to him. I had to literally just sit down and just sort of say, "I'll talk to you in a minute." I was absolutely gutted, but you know when you get from that low sort of thing and you slowly build yourself back up. And I think that's what it was. You were able to take so many positives from it, and that team will get better because it will gel. It's got all the hallmarks of a good Phil Parkinson team. He basically what he's done is he's kept the same plan, he's kept the same formation, he's kept the same tactics. He's just gone out and got better players to play it. So it's complemented that a little bit. And I think what we'll do later is we'll probably go through each player and sort of give our sort of little take on them. Can I just sort of share this, if you don't mind? So this is the front page of the Wrexham gallery, and Karina came to the game. I think it's probably about her fourth game, and she's made her debut here in this picture.
Who's Karina?
Karina is my other half. So there's me, there's Kaus, there's Chris Maxwell.
That's clear as day, isn't it? You can,
and there you can see. There's Karina.
Wow.
Well done.
Do we all have to get photos of our Missus is up.
Well,
Or
only if they go
just you?
to Wrexham games. But
Okay.
there she is, proudly making her debut. There, you can see her forehead.
Oh, great. What a lovely forehead it is. Liam, how are you feeling generally about the game?
It only took me about 5-10 minutes to get over it. I just thought, what a bloody great occasion it was. I was like, I got out of Wrexham for starters, so I discovered all these new places. There was a
Do you know
gob.
there's a Southampton and a Northampton?
No, there's a gob Owen. I'd never seen that place before. That was fantastic.
You know they're playing one another on Tuesday. Like Southampton and Northampton Town are playing each other in the cup on Tuesday.
What does
Well,
the glitch in the matrix-
let's take it one place at a time, if you don't mind, because I'm still feeling giddy. I felt like a tourist. I was just taking loads of pics when I got up to St Mary's. Gareth Bale and like players past. Brett Ormerod was on the like a sort of Legends wall type thing on the walk up. And well, I don't want to boast about my experience because Andy gets jealous. So I'll say.
I'll tell you what. I want your view from the posh seats later. Let's go through that.
All
later.
I'll say is that I nearly spilled my champagne when we scored.
On your swan, on your roasted swan.
Tim, in a sentence or two, how are you feeling about it?
Oh, a sentence or two. That's because Andy's had his diatribe. That's not
It
fair.
is. Don't worry, you've got plenty of time for you to diatribe away.
Tried. I
yeah,
had about
it was.
3 minutes.
Yeah, and you get in brownie points in the other half. Get a grip yourself, man. Get a grip yourself. Nice forehead. That was good. You know what? It was great. And we said ages ago that it felt it was going to feel like a big FA Cup tie, and it did. But the big thing for me, the big kind of takeaways was seeing so many people there that I recognise, you know, amongst 3,000 people, and you can pick out everybody who'd been there in the dark days. And it was kind of like just reward for everybody in that sense. But I think Andy and I were talking, Andy was talking about kind of glorious failures in recent weeks, including the Stoke game, the FA Cup game at Stoke. And whilst that was a fairly glorious failure, I think this one yesterday knocked that one into a cocked hat, really, because it was something more significant. It was the most expensive Wrexham team we've ever seen be assembled in our lifetime to date. And with that, you always fear, is it going to be this team of mercenaries, these multimillionaires? And they give absolutely everything for that shit. So the good thing for me is that Parkinson has basically said, look, if you're going to come in, this is the culture we fostered. This is the culture you will adhere to and ingrain yourself in. Because if you don't, then I don't want you here. And that was very, very important. I think that showed. And another factor of all of it is that we're hard to beat. We're still hard to beat. We hang on in games. Yeah, we had a little bit of luck, but so did they. And that's what gives me hope going forward. I know people are expecting a few pumpings here, there, and they will happen. But if you can test yourselves against a side that held Man City to a 0-0 draw 90 days ago, and have got a lot of solid Premier League operators in their side, then that's only cause for optimism, isn't it?
Okay,
yeah, it is.
In two sentences.
And so Dan Weaver at London Reds told me this, that the last game that Southampton played before us competitively was Arsenal. The last game we played was Lincoln. So I think that shows a little bit of the difference of where we were coming from and where they came from.
Personally, I've just thoroughly enjoyed all the hatred, all the enjoyment that everyone has had out of us losing. The reason being is that performance gave me so much hope that I'm so comfortable. Someone's going to clip this up probably for when we get relegated, I'm sure. But after that game, I was like, well, we're finishing mid-table easy. Sorry, everyone. I was really confident. And all I could think of was like, they are going to upset some people this year. And I really want actually for Parky more than anyone. I'm just looking forward to the first team that we beat, who's half decent, who say that's the worst side that have come here in 3 seasons and they beat us 2-0 with 30% possession. You're crap. You play like that, you'll go down. Cool, thanks. And I was looking forward to doing it at Southampton. Unfortunately, I couldn't, so now I'm gonna have to wait a while. But I'm already buzzing for it. Right, Andy and Tim, you were on Talksport on the trip down, weren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I held his phone for him.
Okay, well, he did it very well. He did it very well. Yeah, Talksport were trialing a new thing, and it was like it's like on the bus to away games. So it was 6:30 and we just got on the bus actually. Natalie Sawyer said this bus isn't very rowdy. Well, bloody hell, what do you want at 6:40 a.m.? like Moonies and people swinging from the. I tell you what, did get rowdy. That bloody toilet, halfway down. Someone,
Yeah.
someone did something disgusting in there, and then we
Tony,
couldn't go
Do
near.
we need to discuss this? Right.
the legend that is Tony Cascarino was also on Talksport, and he said to Andy in his sort of like gruff London voice, because Andy, that fella next to you that doesn't look very happy, does he? Like, again, it's 6:40 in the morning, Tony. What are you expecting?
The good
I'm
thing,
older-
they asked us a question about Phil Parkinson's tactics just as we were getting on the M6 off the M56, and if anyone's ever done that, it's like a really sort of winding that goes the other way. So it was like the Italian job at the end. We're going like this 3-5-2, and I think he's done all right with the tactic. It was quite funny. I hope they put it on YouTube.
All that holding cans of beer and cider, and then a mile and a half away from Southampton, we hit a pothole. And a beer can fucking soaked me, like literally the shorts were covered in it.
I was very supportive. I didn't laugh.
Well, that's when I knew you've definitely got an undiagnosed condition, because you didn't find it funny in the slightest. I would have laughed my head off if that was you.
Right, well, we hope to see you much more on Talksport. I'm sure we will, and I'm sure you'll grow into the role as the season progresses. Liam, let's talk about when you first saw the team sheet. A couple of surprises in there, weren't there? Most notably Danny Ward, probably. What else did you think?
Yeah, we got the word up from from our good friends down at the press box about that. I was quite surprised, to be honest, about the Arthur shout, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. You know, someone who's actually got experience of playing in the division also potentially sends a message to Arthur, you know, about the qualities he's going to need to bring if he is to be the number one. Also, I thought we were going to start with James McLean at left wing back. So, well, I'm not surprised to see Kakachi, but sometimes Parky does like to bed in. So I'd say some more new faces than I probably expected overall. Kiefer Moore, I think I was expecting Ryan Hardy to start. But all I will say is that all the new faces that slotted in really well and immediately made us look like a championship team.
Let's go through those individually later. One thing about Arthur, do you think pre-season, and he was a little bit jittery in places, had anything to do with Danny Ward coming in, or is Ward just maybe impressed in training a little more?
I can't help but wonder if it's down to communication, because the thing, you know, obviously there was the like capitulation, but in general, our defense communicated really well. Ward was really solid, came out for things, etc., and just instilled confidence in his back line. So if that's been on display in training, then you know he's making his claim, isn't he? And he didn't do anything yesterday. I heard someone going on about the free kick, which we'll come to, but bloody hell, he couldn't have done anything for that.
No,
It was an absolute screamer.
That's the
Absolute
wall.
screamer that was.
Nonsense.
That was the wall. The wall didn't do any sort of job. I know he hit it with some venom, but I kind of feel like Max could have maybe got his noggin on.
Yeah, but it wasn't Ward's fault regardless.
No chance.
Right. It was a hell of a start, wasn't it? I mean, Connor Cody had a great opportunity from a brilliant cross from, I think it was Windass, wasn't it? Or was it O'Brien? It was Windass, wasn't it? And then obviously Windass then hit the bar. Windass and Moore were causing all sorts of problems in that first sort of half an hour, weren't they, Tim?
Yeah, it was crazy, really, because like first few minutes, I was like, we're on the rack, and then we just kind of suddenly found our feet. And yeah, I mean, that's precisely why you bring Kiefer Moore in. That is the target man you want. It sticks to him. He brings other players into the game. And he was a massive handful. Obviously, we'll come to the blow of losing him. But I thought we started once we kind of settled down a bit and Windass rattled the bow of that shot. I thought, all right, okay, here we go. We'll have a, and considering the lack of game time they've had together, the link up between Moore and Windass, even O'Brien, I thought was very, very good. Positional play, you can see straight away they're already kind of figuring each other out early doors. And there was a through ball. I think it was a through ball from Windass, which put Moore in to win the penalty. Such good vision, such a good pass, and it's just like it just gets you excited. It gets you excited, and you can start. I think without being disrespectful to the team we finished with last season, it's pretty. I know it's stating the bleeding obvious, but if we'd have gone into yesterday's game with maybe 4 or 5 of that team, I think we would have lost, quite obviously. So you can see why he's been shopping the last 3 or 4 weeks for some big hitters. And yeah, it shoots, isn't it? Shoots of greatness that are coming through, and we should all be rightly excited, but not too carried away.
Yeah. And we had that good start, Andy, and obviously then got the penalty, which was a clear pen, right? You agree?
Definitely, I think it was definitely a pen. Yeah, you can
Do you
see him
think it was a
pushing.
red card? That's the debate
Did
now, isn't it?
Parkinson come out later and say it should have been a red?
Yeah, he did.
I can't see that. I honestly can't because there's another player covering.
They were discussing it at half time, and they was on Sky, and they were saying, well, it clearly should be a red under the rules. It should be
Right.
a red card.
Okay.
I gotta say it's soft though, isn't it? I mean, you're giving red cards for that. I don't
No,
know.
for me, you don't punish a team twice, right? It's a penalty. Yes, it is. But is it a penalty and a red
Well,
card?
that's what the debate is, right? So it's basically it's double jeopardy doesn't count if there's not if there's not an attempt to play the ball. So if it's an
Right.
actual pure, you've just pushed him to foul him, it's cancelled. So have I understood that right, Liam? I think I have.
Yeah, double jeopardy essentially doesn't exist as far as in that sense.
So if he'd have gone in and tried to get the ball and just clipped him, then
It's not a
just
red.
a penalty.
Yeah,
It's not a red. But because he's pushed him and that's seen as unfair play,
correct.
he could have been. But for me, the other player's covering, and that
Well,
takes
it's a
that
goal
out.
scoring opportunity is the argument because he's about to shoot, wasn't he? Apparently, but I don't know. Well, either way, I'm not
I think
splitting hairs
the
over that
rules
red
is the
because I don't
rules
think any
and
of us
it's
were
harsh.
expecting it, were we? Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have. I didn't look at that at first. I was thinking, is he going to give it? Because the referee was up and down all game. So I thought, is he going to give it? Well, he did give it. Okay, I never thought he was going to reach for a red, and I think it would have been a riot. Well, I don't know, would those St Mary's fans riot because they were incredibly quiet?
I even got it to rhyme, like Eminem.
Yeah, for most of it. But look, Windass had a very short run up. I wasn't really sure about it. I wasn't sure if he was going to generate enough power in what he was doing. He did like a little stutter and he absolutely twatted it. And it was past the keeper before he even dived. So fair play. That seems a very sort of good. It's like all the power of a Mullin, but there seemed to be a bit more direction there as well. So
I mean, he scored it, didn't he? I didn't think it was a particularly amazing penalty, but he sold the keeper the wrong way and put it the other way.
I think it was the amount of power he managed to generate on it because the keeper guessed the right way. And if it had been any sort of less of a hit, the keeper would have saved it.
Perhaps.
But look, I think Windass is probably going to take our penalties.
Yes, I was hoping it would be him when it was given because we were wondering who it was going to be. I mean, let's move on. I mean, we played.
Let me just say one more thing about the start. I don't think Southampton were expecting that. I don't think. Look at the way they were sort of stroking it round at the back. It's like almost like a Premier League idea of how to play football, and we just threw that whole sort of rule book out the window. And what we did, we pressed everyone. We got in their faces. Moore was a massive, massive handful. But then he was backed up by the likes of O'Brien. I don't think Dobson had a brilliant game, but he covered every blade of grass. And I think that's what shocked them. And that's what allowed us to get on top. And I just think we ran out of steam a little bit because we put so much into it.
Yeah, I was having this argument with my granddad after the game because he was saying how we'd have been very, very lucky to get a point out of that. He's a very biased Swansea supporter, and I was saying, well, hang on, we opened them up 3 or 4 times completely, and I don't think really they opened us up once. Don't get me wrong, we were under pressure, and they had opportunities, but there was no time I didn't think where they apart from right at the end, that the second goal basically we didn't get opened up. I thought we defended really well. We pressed, and they could not handle Kiefer at all in the first half. I mean, I don't know how many fouls did he draw in the first half an hour.
It was good to see that he got them because a lot of the times,
he usually concedes them.
Yeah,
but this brings us on to our next topic because we kind of lost control a little bit before half time, but more importantly, ran out of steam, I think, quite clearly in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes. You could see we were tired. And I wonder whether, do you think, Liam, that's sort of connected to the pressing?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I thought one of the key differences though was when Moore came off. We just lost that stickability up front. He helped it stick, and also I think some of the substitutions. actually, and Andy will probably cheer that I'm saying this, but I thought James McLean made some really daft decisions after I was thinking this is a good move by Parkinson. Here he is bringing on an experienced head to see out the game. It was the exact opposite. It was as if he'd put a young, sprightly, sort of naive player on who just threw himself into every challenge and kept drawing fouls in dangerous areas. So yeah, I could see the reasoning behind. Well, I mean, obviously there was no choice with Moore, but in general, I just thought that took some of the momentum out towards the end.
Would you replace Moore with Hardy? Because I would have. I
Yes.
think Sam Smith didn't look fit.
Well, I was baffled
He's
because
not-
if you're making a like for like sub, it's Hardy, isn't it? You know, out of those on your bench, and I was really, really confused with that.
Yeah, I
Don't know whether
couldn't
it was
really work
fitness
it out.
related. Tim, what did you think?
I can see why he's gone for Smith, because I just think he's probably got a bit more upper body weight in terms of what he's looking at for for more in the sort of physicality sense. Which Hardy to me doesn't look. He's got that. He's got the
He's
pace and
tall,
sort of
Hardy, but he's not a battering ram, is he? Like, you
yeah,
can tell
exactly.
when
That
he came on, yeah.
I think he saw what Moore had done, and he thought, well, can I replace that somehow and keep something that it can stick? All right, Smith certainly wasn't fit, but can he at least hold the ball up and bring the other players into the game? And yeah, I mean, he looked like he was walking through tar, didn't he? He was well off it, but that'll come with time. You like to see him. Maybe he'll start against Hull. I don't know. But yeah, it was an odd decision. But look, I don't want to start. I'm not going to start questioning Parky's decisions after one game.
I think he's a disgrace. And actually, I thought the first
All
first
right.
comment the first comment I saw
Evil Reese is back.
the first comment I saw on the club Instagram account, sort of saying that we lose 2-1 due to a late goal, was the top comment after like an hour after was like, Parky's not going to get you where you need to be, lads. You've got to move on, blah blah. And I actually warmed the cockles of my heart because I just thought these people are going to get a shock, and I'm buzzing for it. And I'm buzzing for it. Please clip this up.
Tens of thousands of people tweeted, "Welcome to the championship,
I
Wrexham."
know.
Like, fucking thanks. We've enjoyed it. We've had a great day out.
I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I know it was brilliant. Right. Anyway, also on Smith, I mean, Christ, he nearly gave away a penalty with the most obvious shirt pull I've ever seen. You know, really poor. Really, I'm amazed the ref didn't give it. It was so clear.
And the Max handball. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was a handball as well. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
That's what
where
I
we.
mean. This ref was up and down.
That,
That's
that was
where we
ball
were
to
there.
hand. That was ball to hand.
Never a
Uh,
chance. Come on.
It's quite a feat when a referee
No, it was his
ends up
hand.
pissing. Sorry,
No, it was his hand. It wasn't his feet.
no, it's quite bloody hell. You
Can't
get
believe
that
he
joke.
fell into it. He fell
You get
into
a
the
joke
trap.
book in the posh seats. Posh jokes for Liam. Right, but the referee managed to piss off both sets of fans, and that's quite an achievement because he's
Yeah.
so erratic.
He
I
was
thought
pretty.
referees were going to be better.
He was a bit erratic, although I mean, I've got to say, you know, they had 2 pens that should have been pens turned down. So I mean, I don't think we can have too many complaints in terms of
the
that.
second Smith one because that was right in front of me. Oh no, are you
Yes.
talking about the Saints?
I'm talking about Saints, and then we had a borderline one. I think, yeah, that when he watched it back, he could. I've seen him given 100%.
Yeah,
He clipped
pushed
Smith,
him. He pushed him.
pushed
he
him,
did
and then
push
caught
him.
his leg as well on the way. Yeah,
But Smith was going down left, right, and centre. It's almost like a Mullin sort of effect here. That if you're going down outside the box, the referee might think that you would go down inside the box. So I don't know if that he was a victim of his own sort of actions there a little bit. I'd seen those given. It was right in front of me. Everyone looked around and thought, right, okay, I thought that's a pen. But I've just looked at the highlights now. I didn't even make the highlights reel. So people that couldn't have thought it was that big a talking point.
in the second half, sort of Southampton were generally in control, but I didn't feel like they were doing much. And then, but again, we managed to open them up or get behind them clearly on 2 occasions in particular now. And it was, first of all, O'Brien, of course, and unfortunately really mucked up his chance. You know, tried to put it onto his favoured left foot, but unfortunately didn't quite have the strength and was just purely outmuscled off the ball. Probably should have just got a shot away in his right, in hindsight, obviously. But then the big one, obviously, was what was it, 89th minute? Hardy, Tim. I mean, It was a hell of a save, wasn't it? And obviously, I know he scuffed his shot a little bit, but it was a decent effort. It would have gone right into the bottom corner and just got a fingertip to it to keep it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a scuff shot, but it bobbled.
Mm.
It did take a bobble, and at that stage of the game, you just got to try and get something on it, which is exactly what the Southampton player who won the game was. He just had to get
Yeah.
something on it. But if you look at his anticipation of the mistake, because it does come from a mistake, then he sort of hooks the ball with his left leg to sort of bring it into his path. So all that's really good individual skill straight away to even present himself with that opportunity. And yeah, he scuffed it, but he still got on target. And the keeper makes the minutest of fingertip saves just to take it around the post. If he scores, that's game over.
Yeah. Ifs and buts. However, yeah, it was a great save, and obviously, then I think it was within a minute, wasn't it, that the free kick was given? And my memory is serving me badly here, but I want to say it was a poor free kick to give away. Was it?
Dobson.
Was it
Needless,
Dobson?
needless.
It's
He didn't
needless,
need
wasn't
to.
it? And this is what cost us a couple of times last season. And actually, that is something that I think where there is criticism that you could give that is more fair, which is we are sometimes quite bad at giving away needless free kicks in dangerous areas, and it happens late on all the time.
Yeah, there was one stage where I thought our game management was spot on. I thought we were going to see it out. And then, I don't know, last 5 or 10 minutes, there was just brain farts left, right, and centre. It's just like, we don't need to keep doing this. We don't need to keep inviting this pressure. But
There's
that
McLean
is
as
it.
well, wasn't there? With
Yeah.
the, got a silly free kick and got involved with that as well. Although Andy, I didn't think that you would have gone down as easily as that lad did when McLean pushed him. So I still think we can do the charity boxing match.
Okay, that's good. All right, I'm gonna have to start running. Right.
Shall we talk about the free kick? Because I've heard some people criticize Danny Ward, as discussed earlier. I mean, what? I thought it was just an absolutely shit hot free kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, a free kick like that hits the inside of the net on the right.
Yeah.
They're very bloody hard to save, and he absolutely twatted it, and he bent it in as well. I think it's just a brilliant free kick.
We all knew it. We all knew
Yeah.
it. Like I said to my mate next to me, I was like, this is going in. He's like, yep. And it's not even like trying to like wish it, some sort of reverse psychology. You just kind of knew. And it was just deserved, to be honest. But I was just a bit annoyed by the wall. I've watched it back a few times. It's so static, that wall. They're just planted. I mean, jump. He's not going to go.
Aren't they told not to jump these days because it can go
Why?
underneath?
I mean, he's not going to lit it low from there.
No, I know it's a fair point. I think probably only for closer ones.
He gets some serious trajectory on it and some power. So
you know what? He moved it back a bit because it was actually closer in. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. He moved it back a bit.
Let's have a steward's inquiry.
Yeah. So where it was, I think he moved it back a couple of yards. Didn't think really. Come on, Liam, you're our rules expert. You're allowed to do that. Otherwise, you can just take it. I'll tell you the other place that happened. The long ball merchant they had, like the long throw.
Frozer.
Yeah, he was moving himself back as well. So even if it was right on the side of the corner, he was moving himself back 5 yards to get a different trajectory.
I'm sure if we look back at Ben Tozer's goals,
Tozer did that for seasons, mate. You can't be slagging that off.
Yeah,
now.
but we don't have one now, so it's unfair.
it's agricultural.
All right.
Yeah. Right. Last notes before we discuss the players individually really quickly. Where does that rank? 1 in all-time atmospheres and 2 in all-time sickeners? Liam.
Don't ask him about the atmosphere. He's eating a swan.
Yeah. Forget you. Just say the sickener bit.
One thing I do want to ask Liam: could you hear us? Were we loud?
Yeah, it was loud. It was definitely loud. I don't know if the acoustics were really good, actually. So, yeah,
okay.
Wrexham fans sounded spot on. It was just quite hard because I get quite mouthy. So I was doing my usual, oh, fuck off, when a decision was given, then pretending to have a really bad cough. And I didn't
work.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the sickener, I don't know. I didn't feel sickened.
No, me.
So to speak. All I felt was, wow, we just looked like a championship side. Yeah. That's all I could think about. So it's not going anywhere on the scale for me in terms of sickeners.
As sickeners go, nothing ever or ever will get close to losing to Newport, because there was so much riding on their gate.
Well, I went to that place on a new port when I was on the train. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah, there's a
shithole.
Southport, a Newport.
Shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so nothing will get close to that. And I think if you think about sickeners, then there's a game that you're not in at all and you just get a hiding and you walk away from it and you think, oh, well, we've had a lesson there. That wasn't that game. We give as good as we got on that. So it's sickening in the fact the way that we conspired to lose it. But as far as matching the other team went, I think it's not a complete disaster. A, it's the start of the season. B, we did well. And C, I haven't got C, but just look at A and B again.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think?
Atmosphere wise, it was amazing in the sense that I think that's the first ground we've been to where it's had safe standing. All safe standing must be, and that probably contributed to it. I'd say. So you haven't got people say, "Oh, I need to sit down." It was just, yeah, it was good. And like you said, it was great acoustics, and you sandwich between the home fans either side. For me, I still think Charlton away last year beats it. Just I don't know why. I just felt it was louder. It was just special. I don't know.
Maybe it's
why.
the time of the day as well. I mean, that was 3 o'clock.
Early start and everything else. But it was nice. It was great. It was dead loud, and everybody was on it. And the Joey Jones tifo that was going across the room was brilliant. So shout out to, I think it was Tom. I need to check his name but Tom who kind of helped do the crowd funder for that, and they're looking to get a couple more for Joey as well. So that was cool. That was really good. In terms of sickness, no, not even remotely on the scale. If you're referring to just 2 games, the last sickness that that truly made my stomach turn was the Grimsby playoff eliminator.
Yeah,
that was like, we're going through this again. We're destined never to get out of this division. Feels like such a long time ago now. So
yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more. And lest we forget in terms of eye openers into a new division, League Two was a much bigger one than the start of our championship campaign. Was it 5-3 we lost or 5-2 in the end?
5-3.
Yeah, I've got one thing before we go on to the players. We've said a few times we've run out of steam, and maybe the legs had gone towards the end of the first half and certainly towards the end of the second half. Do you think that pre-season has well, I don't want to say. I'm trying to find the right word here.
You're saying we looked washed. Andy says we looked washed.
No, I don't.
Has pre-season prepared us enough for the start of the season?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's difficult. They looked tired. I think that was obvious. I think we all agree with that. How much of that is the fact that I don't know. I don't have access to the data, so I don't know whether they are running, markedly further than the opposition. It's possible. So yeah, maybe. Genuinely, it's possible.
Well, that's the other thing. Southampton was so good with the ball that we were moving around a lot, trying to counter them, and so that could be why our fitness levels were a little suspect towards the end of each half.
I'm not so sure about this running out of steam malarkey. I just think we ran out of ideas, and that's the difference. So then they really came onto us, which they expected, and because we didn't have any focal point to hold up the play further down the pitch, it was like, okay, we're under the cosh now. And the defensive and goalkeeping effort was massive.
Yeah,
so I don't think it was a massive amount of running out of steam. I just think it was a case of they just had a lot more in the tank off the bench. Shock surprise.
One tweak I think he will make. Look, tactically, I had an idea. I was sort of thinking, how is he going to sort of set this team up? And this will come into what we probably still need if we're still going into the transfer market. I wondered if he was going to go 2 sort of combative midfielders and an attacking mid, with maybe Windass as the attacking mid and 2 strikers. He didn't. He went with 3 sort of dogs of war plus Windass a little bit further back and then Moore as the focal point. I wonder if he might switch that a few times, especially at home. But I think away at Southampton, it seemed a clever move to give us more legs in midfield. Now, if you're going to do that, I understand why he's bought George Thomason, because I think Thomason probably comes into that side, probably ahead of Dobson, and gives you a little bit of everything. And maybe the likes of Thomason might be a little bit better on the ball to take the sting out of the game or give the opposition something more to think about. I don't know what you guys think.
Can I just ask, is dogs of war a new football phrase I'm unaware of?
No, Joe Parkinson and I think it was Lee Carsley were known as the Dogs of War the
Andy's
Everton
bringing it
midfield.
back.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was a superb like computer game back in the day, Commodore Amiga era computer
it's
game.
so yeah.
What kind of player is a dog of war?
I think someone who's all action.
Jay Harris.
Yeah,
Box
In
to
Leeds.
box, all action.
yeah, three Jay Harrises.
Okay.
With what a naughty midfield that would be. But that's the sort of thing. I mean, what I meant by that is, look, you don't have your attacking mid breaking, even like a Lee. You've just got three solid, compact centre mids.
Okay. Interesting. Let us know what you think in the
I said
comments.
all that. Now I go backwards.
No, let us know what you think of dogs of war.
Andy
in the
went to
comments section.
real effort to come up.
Let us
poured
know
his
what you
heart.
think in the comments. Are you a dog of war? Are our players dogs of war? Is Andy a dog of war? Will James McLean be a dog of war in his fight with Andy?
Go into the ring, right into Andrew.
Andy, dog
Dogs
of war, Gilpin.
Gilpin.
Yeah. Right. Let's discuss our new star. I wasn't being facetious, Andy. I was just genuinely interested because I hadn't heard that expression before. I'm going to use it now in everyday conversation. Can we discuss our new players? Let's do it briefly though, because I'm conscious of time. Our new player ratings, what they bring, how we thought they got on. Let's start with Danny Ward. We've touched on it a little bit already. To me, didn't seem to do anything wrong. I mean, he wasn't massively tested in terms of shot stopping, but he had plenty of touches of the ball and looked comfortable. Agreed.
Yeah,
Oh,
most
great.
things seem to come at him, but he also had a few occasions where he came out, claimed the ball when we were under the cosh a bit, and that's what I want from a goalkeeper. So, yeah, can't fault him whatsoever.
You know what?
Yeah.
I thought he was great, and I keep saying that I think when you're a striker and you're a goalkeeper, they're the important positions to start well at a club, and if you start well, the confidence grows. And I think that performance for Danny, will do him the world of good. It's going to be hard for Arthur to get in. I really do. I think it's going to be hard. And I think sort of if you look at both of them, yeah, they're both great keepers. You sort of think, well, maybe does Arthur have a higher ceiling or a higher potential than Danny? But the thing is, Danny did everything well. He's always been a pretty decent shot stopper, and he was always positions himself well, quite there. And maybe Tim will know more about this than me, but maybe if there were any question marks, is about him coming out and claiming the ball. But I thought he did that excellently yesterday.
He communicates a lot with his defense, which is the only sort of real criticism I can probably aim at Arthur, in that he seems a much more timid person in that respect. Great keeper. Does he communicate enough? Does he need to come out of his shell? Maybe. He'll look at Ward and go, okay, this is something I need to do. This is something I can learn from. And shock surprise, I mean, I said a while back that I felt Ward was going to be in there. And it comes as no surprise to me that he puts Ward in there with Cody at the back, two teammates from Leicester who will know each other inside out, will know the way they play. So I just think that had a big effect on his decision making as well. And it's another step on Ward's retribution to getting back as Wales' #1 goalkeeper, of which, if that shows anything to go by, he will.
Let's go. Yeah, Arthur's irrelevant to me now. Sell him in January as far as I'm concerned. Liam, I'm joking, everyone. Please don't cancel me. Liam, that brings us on nicely to Connor Cody, who was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, he endears himself straight away. Straight from the kickoff, you could see him talking to Max, talking to Brunt, talking them through things, which is exactly what we need in the middle of those, that sort of back three. Because you've got the sort of youthfulness. We'll get on to other players. So I didn't think either Max or Brunt disgraced themselves, but just having Cody there with them, I think definitely helped on that occasion. And once again, we've talked how good he is at interviews. I listened to his interview after the match, and he's just great to listen to. Could listen to him all the time. So yeah, big fan of Cody.
And he had a couple of important interventions as well, didn't he? As well as the obvious leadership he brought. There were a couple of solid blocks in there, weren't there?
Yeah, and he was a goal threat. I mean, he should have probably scored. So all round, yeah, I think Max and Brunt are the preferred two of either side of him, and I think he'll make them better players through the course of the season. I think Max did well yesterday. You do wonder, can a guy who we brought up from non-league really cut it at championship level? And yes, he did. But he's got Connor Cody next to him. I think Cody's going to be vital. Now, people sort of say that he's the archetypal sweeper. He's not going to go in and win every header, but he is going to position people to do that, to do what needs to be done. And I thought he was decent yesterday. I'm glad we've got him. I think he'll eventually become captain.
Right, Libby Kakache, Tim. I thought he was solid, wasn't he? I mean, he probably wasn't quite as in on the game as Cody, for example, and O'Brien, but he didn't do much wrong. I don't think until
No, I mean there was a couple of early interventions that worried me a little bit because he was trying to be super eager and you want to impress, and then it's just his second tackle. He looked like he was like, can I be bothered doing that? I haven't succeeded first time. So there was a couple of little times I thought, okay, he's tried once, he hasn't sort of followed it up again, but grew into the game. Jesus Christ, his energy was unbelievable. Like he's got that kind of similar thing to what Dobson did last year, where not Dobson, sorry, Rathbone, in that he'll just hair down and take the ball like just cleanly.
Yeah, he did that a couple of times.
Yeah. Just kind of like hunts his man down and takes the ball. So I thought he did really well. Andy, I was gonna sing, but I'm not gonna do it. But I'll let you know there is a few little chants for him already. But my favorite is from Tom on X at TJRIN21 to Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody. So I want to dance with Kakachi. I want to feel the heat with Kakachi. Yeah, I want to dance with Kakachi. Liberato Kakachi. It's beautiful. It's great.
I love it.
That should be the one, not the Celtic song. Let's stop copying Celtic songs. Let's get that involved.
Agreed.
Got to pay tribute to a bit of Whitney.
He's strong. He's so strong. He's like built of granite. Fair play to him. I was impressed for a debut in a league you don't know. He's never played in England before. I thought he adapted really well. I think he will get better and better, and I really like him. So he must have showed up really well to replace McLean in that team.
Is he as strong as a dog of war? Do you think? Would he fit in?
He looks like a dog of war.
I think, yeah. I mean, maybe sort of like maybe he's a hound of war.
Hound of war. I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Right, Lewis O'Brien, I thought was absolutely class. Like he is quality, isn't he? I mean, he's in a lead arm midfield, I would think, this season, Liam.
He gave me a lob on, to be honest.
No need.
Sorry, sorry, I've just lowered myself.
What are you getting in these posh seats? Bloody hell, you get everything.
Simon Le Bon.
No, he was again. I can see why Swansea fans wanted to sign him permanently after the loan spell last season because he just looks a cut above going. I think he offers something going forward as well as the sort of tenacious midfielder. I was gutted he didn't take that chance, but he sort of created that off his own back as well, so I can't be too frustrated. Yeah. I'm trying not to get too excited about all these new players, but then I'm trying to think of any who didn't really, cover themselves in glory, and you couldn't say there was one, which again is very hard to do coming into, a new side. But there was just some little interchanges. It was those sort of three, him, Windass, and Kiefer Moore. Some of the interplay between those three, they look like they've been playing together for years, not weeks. So
lovely pass to Kakache, wasn't there? To create the penalty, I think it was, wasn't it? The that he made, and then a nice ball from Kakache through to Moore, actually. So yeah, superb. Any other comments about O'Brien before we move on to Windass? Because they were both quality, weren't they?
I think he's fantastic. I think he'll have the effect. When Dobson came into our midfield last season, he was just a cut above for that league. And we thought, wow, we've got a player here. And I think it's the same with O'Brien. I think when talking to a Forest fan, he said, yeah, O'Brien's a bit of a point and click midfielder. You have to tell him where to go and he'll go and do it. But I didn't see that. I thought he was leading himself and led from the front and knew when to drop back and knew when to burst forward. I think he's got a bit of everything. I really, really like him.
He's a hound of battle.
There we go. Wow. What a team we've got coming here. And Josh Windass, quality, wasn't he? I mean, great strike for the to hit the bar, was a real live wire, great ball into the box as well to create a chance for Cody. I mean, yeah, what else can you say?
Real terrier of Yorkshire.
He's going to be a handful. Paul Mullin, he's like an Uber Mullin. I think he's got a bit of everything about him. I really do like him.
I really wanted more to square it to him. You know, that
I
end of the
know.
first half.
He was wide open.
Just get your head up. But never mind.
Well, let's move on to more then. I would say that's probably the only criticism you could make of him was, unfortunately, didn't lift his head up there and get that ball across, because it would have been 2-0 on the stroke of half time. But otherwise, I thought they just couldn't live with him in the first half, could they?
He was made for a Phil Parkinson side when he was just your archetypal number 9. But it's like people say, an upgrade on Palmer, but bloody hell, I like Palmer, but there's levels. There's levels, and he just looked, which makes his injury all the more frustrating, because I just want to,
Do we have an update on it yet, other than that it's ankle ligament damage?
nothing beyond that now.
Because I don't want to give everyone hope here, right? But I've done exactly that a few times, right? Where basically someone hits the ball really hard and it like hits your toe and it knocks your ankle back that way. It's not that bad of an injury. Like, it's not like rolling your ankle and that kind of ligament
Did you
damage.
see the photo though? His
Yeah,
foot
but
was
it's
bent like a banana.
no, it's not that. It's not. The foot has gone that way. It's fine. That's my theory. If I'm wrong, hang me. My theory is it's a couple of weeks at worst. Don't hang me.
Look, I mean, he did manage to walk off. I don't think there's anything ruptured there. It's an impact injury. It's not like, it's almost, if it's a bit more innocuous, they're almost worse. So I am.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a couple of weeks at most. He might even be fine for Saturday.
I mean, if it's a strained ankle ligaments and not anything burst or ripped there, then yeah, you might be. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the thing is, with Moore, Liam said then he's set up for a Phil Parkinson team. Well, at other clubs, Kiefer Moore would have been your plan B, something a little bit different. At this club, it is all set up for him. The whole of the team work off what he brings. So it's almost like you build the team around him.
And they work for him as well, as
do.
off him.
Yeah. So if he's he's got the biggest chance to thrive here, because this is a team sort of grafted in his image.
It's all very exciting, isn't it? And then obviously Ryan Hardy came on.
We're going to win the fucking league, mate.
Piece of piss.
Right, stop swearing now. Ryan Hardy then came on, and I thought he acquitted himself well. As Tim says, created that chance for himself. Didn't quite put it away, but got a shot on target, which we didn't have too many of, to be fair. So can't argue with that.
Yeah, he seems self-sufficient. He seems like a striker who can create out his own. And, we're saying he's tall, but he is not Kiefer Moore. He is not a target man. I just think he's your sort of second striker who happens to be tall, if you know what I mean. So you always had, like, I don't know, if you put Mullin and Palmer, so there was one who was the battering ram and one who was the guy who sort of worked off it and made his own stuff happen. I think Hardy's that role rather than the archetypal centre forward.
Right, next on the agenda, very quickly, Andy hated the Southampton fans. The word I've got here is a swear word, but we've hit our swear word quota. So explain to us why you don't like the Southampton fans.
All right, 99% of Southampton fans were lovely. They were brilliant, but there was no in between, because the 1% were absolute pricks. So I was in a pub called the Red Lion, and I went to the toilet, and someone had knocked my drink over onto my bag, and didn't offer to buy us another drink. Just sort of moved to another part of the pub and went like that. Anyway, that he was wearing a Southampton shirt. He might well just been a prick. Anyway, but that was backed up by Tommy Robinson Southampton fans coming into that pub later and singing "There's only one Tommy Robinson," which made me leave straight away. So yeah, there was no in between. They were either the loveliest people or absolute bellends.
On Tommy Robinson, can I just say, someone who was sat next to me in the hospitality thought that when we were singing "Oh Joey Joey," they thought we were singing "Oh Tommy Tommy," Tommy Robinson.
Oh my God!
I had to explain.
Only some of us were.
You should have said we were singing about Tony Robinson from Blackadder.
Tony Robinson. We just love Time Team.
Oh, Tony.
So just to reiterate, 99% of Southampton fans were some of the nicest people There's just, and I'm supposed it's the same with every fan base. They just happen to be where I was.
But,
They were giving us loads of shit on the way out because as you come out that way in, there's just literally a line of like temporary steel gates with some stewarding, and they're just coming out the same entry by us. They're like, "Stick that in your fucking documentary," and like, well, we will, won't we? And you'll be on it. You'll be glad
Yeah.
to be on it because we'll show you how close you came to getting done over by a team that finished, significantly lower than you a few years ago. But there we are.
yeah. No, totally agree. And it's kind of real life against online, isn't it? That's what I find funny. It's all. I think sometimes as fans, you see all the hate online and you think that it replicates into real life, and it really doesn't. When you actually speak to the vast majority of football fans, they will go, "Oh wow, it is great. Like we'd love it if it was happening here." That's probably diluting a little bit the higher we go because obviously, you have very rich owners as well. But most fans are very supportive. It's just that that's not quite replicated online. Right. Any other business? Let's talk. I don't think we've discussed about James McLean's new deal, Andy. That was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, come to me. Thanks very much. I was surprised. I was surprised because it's very
Does he
hard.
think he's rubbish?
No, it's not that, and I've said a few times I think he'll be very important to us, and I have said that he got better in League One than he was in League Two in that role. I think he's incredibly important off the pitch, and I think he's a role model. But what I would say is I think the players we brought in are also of that ilk. So maybe he does. I wonder how he sort of feels that he used to be the main man. The people used, well, he probably still is, but you know what I mean. The people went to, but now you've got people like Connor Cody that that people can talk to as well. Look, I think he's incredibly important. I wouldn't have given him a new deal. I also so early.
Of course you wouldn't. Tim, what do you think?
I think he's probably going to be going on to the coaching staff. That's my kind of reaction to it. Is that a natural way? I don't ever see him as a manager, but I do see him as being part of a coaching team, and obviously his family and stuff are settled. It's sort of not a million miles away from here, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the real reason. And he's shown he's probably still one of the fittest players in this division or at any
That's
level.
where he leads by example to everyone.
Yeah, of
just
course
the
he
way
does.
he looks after himself as a professional.
Yeah, and I think it's a similar situation to a couple of years ago when sort of like the likes of Tozer as a leader was out the side, but he's still like one of the biggest cheerleaders of the club. So I think when McLean isn't playing, he'll still bring a lot of value to that dressing room regardless.
I am a bit worried that we still keep handing out long deals to people, and we've got a very, very top-heavy squad at the moment, and the likes of
We're rich, mate. Don't worry about it.
Depends on how many it happens with. I think if it was say like just McLean or maybe one more, I can deal with it. But if we start doing that, a bit like the situation last season with was it Palmer and Mendy, yeah, that has got to come back and bite us at some stage, hasn't it? If we just keep dishing out massive contracts to players who we're not sure are going to be here in 1 or 2 seasons time.
Fair enough. Oh, by the way, a note as you mentioned him, Tim, on Ben Tozer, who was a pundit on Sky, and he was excellent, really, really good, as you'd expect. So hopefully we get to see him more this season. Having watched that first game, Andy, I'll come to you first on this. Is there any area now where you think, right, this is where we need one or two more?
Now I know how he's going to play because I was sort of thinking, will he play an attacking mid and 2 strikers? And I think he will go Broadhead stroke if he can get him Windass in like the attacking number 10 role and a striker. So maybe he might need another midfielder because if you're playing those 3 sort of compact midfielders, have we got enough there? I suppose when Rathbone comes back, that's another option. When Thomason, there's another option as well. And Dobson is not a bad backup there as well. So I would think.
Are we not a bit light at the back?
Maybe, but I wonder if
Would you have been happy with Owen O'Connell coming on after 50 minutes if Connor Cody was injured?
it would be interesting. I think they're going to get someone else to be the backup for Windass, whether it be Broadhead if we can get him. If not, maybe Lewis Kumas on loan from Liverpool. I think that's one area they're definitely looking at. And then I wonder, yeah, you might be right. Maybe they do need another midfielder, but could Kakache play there? Sorry, no, defender. Could Kakache play there? You know,
Yeah,
is that
perhaps.
he seems
Mm.
strong enough to do that role? Do we
Yeah,
think
he's
it's
a
the end
hound
of
of
summer?
war.
Do we think
Tim,
this
any
is the end of
thoughts?
summer? Sorry.
I just got Andy stumbled and it sounded like he was going to bust out changes by David Bowie. It's like catch stumbling over it,
Well,
but
that could be the
I,
chant. Catchy.
you know,
No.
I'm a bit like I'm not bothered. I trust them to get it right. Whoever they bring in, they've done a decent job of the recruitment. So long may it continue. Kumas would be really good. I think he'd be a really solid addition. And we haven't utilized that loan market yet, so I imagine that is something that we probably will
That's
be
the other option. You know, say we say like we're a bit light at the
Mm.
back, and Connor Cody gets injured. Well, do you need to bring anyone in until he is? Because if you bring someone in, he's not going to play. Because I think Cody's probably going to play 90% of our games. So do you bring someone in just to sit on the bench, or do you do it when you need to?
Yeah. Look, let's talk about Hull quickly. We have them on Tuesday night in the League Cup. Do we go full strength? Are we going full noise for this or not? Tim, obviously you're not playing Kiefer, presumably.
Yeah, I think you. I'd like to see Harry Ashfield involved. It was great to see him on the bench. I think Arthur will probably start, no doubt. So I think there will be changes, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? When you've got the squad the size we have with a home fixture against a team that people are kind of expecting to struggle this year. I don't know, but all I know is that they signed Ollie McBurney, and I hate that player. I hate that man. I don't hate many players. I just can't stand him. He's a proper idiot. Off the pitch, on the pitch, he's an idiot. So I hope James McLean plays and wipes him out early doors and gets his customary yellow card. Not injured, but just a reducer, as Joey Jones would say.
Andy, how would you line up?
I'd do about 4 or 5 changes. I still think there's elements of that team that needs to knit together, and I think playing helps that. But I still think he'll probably make like McLean on the left, maybe Ryan Hardy to start up front. So I don't disagree that maybe Arthur comes in as the cup keeper. But I think generally he'll keep the nucleus together. Especially think the defenders. I think they need to play together more to get that sort of unit.
Liam, anything to add to that?
Mostly that I'm just looking forward to being back on home soil. I've tried going other places. It's shit, to be honest. You can't. There's nothing you can get in any of these places that can't be found in Wrexham. So don't bother traveling anywhere. Don't broaden your horizons. Stay in Wrexham.
I blame
Remind-
Brett Ormrod for this pod being a parental advisory explicit content. I think his swearing expertise has rubbed off on most of us.
He's rubbed off on you all. And yeah, shame on you all.
Even that's a bit rude. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you everyone for listening. Looking forward to a season in the championship. This was our first podcast in the championship. Who'd have thought we'd have been saying that?
Championship
a few weeks ago?
podcast. Get in.
Wow. Unbelievable. We're looking forward to it, and we will see you very, very soon. Looking forward to next week's games, I hope. Thanks
We'll
for
have a
listening.
midweeker.
Goodbye.
We'll have a midweeker. So get involved.
We'll have a midweeker.
Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Thank you very
Do
much.
all that.
Cheers.